There isn't too many schools in the state that I'm aware of that can boast a 1 to 12 ratio of valedictorians to students in the class. This class, however, of 24 graduates, has 2 valedictorians this year, and I think that's something that we all need to give them a big round of applause for. It's my pleasure to introduce to you today the first of your 2 valedictorians, Mr. Dallas Rayburn.
All right, well, to be honest, coming up with something to say here today hasn't not been easy for me. About 10 minutes into thinking through it, I'd say, I quickly realized this wasn't a speech I could make up as I went, which I've done even more often than Mrs. Weed wants to know about. I also realized that I didn't want to give the classic run-of-the-mill speech. I think most of the people who know me know that I'm not exactly a typical, predictable, run-of-the-mill person. I knew I couldn't be over-dramatic. To graduate or not to graduate. It is no longer the question. No, I assume most people wouldn't appreciate that. Mr. Henning might not have approved my speech if it included me wearing a mustache and a sombrero. The more I thought about what approach to take, the more I realized that this is really a serious opportunity for me to be an influence on others. And we've all heard that before. Be a positive influence, choose positive influences, be influential. It's classic. Still, I feel as we leave our safety net of high school today, it's just one of those times that we can all use that extra reminder to watch out for what influences us. I think my class and I are pretty aware of the influences that we've chosen in high school. Friends, teachers, family. Some of us maybe haven't chosen entirely legal influences, but the point is, just about everything we do influences us in one way or another. Our influences have also affected who we are as people. To be honest, I think some of us could stand for an improvement in our influences. To be more painfully honest, I think some of us have chosen the right influences in high school and could very well someday end up picking the wrong influences. Either way, we now have the chance to pick new friends, new jobs, start fresh with new teachers, move where we want to. This is the time to take a look at our lives and filter out some of our negative influences. We've got ourselves a clean, well, I don't want to use the clean slate analogy, so I'll modernize it and call it a clean whiteboard. We've got ourselves a clean whiteboard here. Now, I'm not going to turn into a motivational speaker here or anything. I'm not going to pull up the whiteboard and say, what we've got here is the good stuff. And over here is the quagmire of life, and you've got good and the bad, and if you follow the bad, you're in the band down by the... Never mind. No, I'm not going to do that, but seriously. Today, we are erasing this whole whiteboard of our life. We can rewrite some of the old, better influences. We've got our family, our friends who kept us accountable for each other. But don't reclutter our whiteboards with the old garbage that we used to have on it. And more important, don't fill it with new garbage. The white space on our whiteboards is precious. We may never have the chance to erase these again. Think about every influence before we as a class add our influence and decide whether they're negative or positive. Don't waste space on your whiteboard. And no, you can't buy more space on eBay. But you know what's worse than having a whiteboard of your own filled with bad influences? Being the name on other people's whiteboards that they want to erase. That name that everyone regrets adding because that's the name that got them into a lot of trouble and been adding a lot of other bad influences onto their own whiteboards. As we meet new people, you will have an influence on them. But don't be that influence of the guy who taught me how to party or who got me started on the wrong track. Everyone with a testimony of how they got off of drugs has someone who got them off on the wrong track. Don't be that person. Today, we can be positive role models. Be the name that people wouldn't consider erasing because you're the person who got them through freshman English or who kept me accountable for my act. Most importantly, be the person who is willing to stand up for your convictions. I think most of my class knows that one of my strongest influences is my Christian faith. It's an influence that I've had since childhood, an influence that I will keep until I die, and an influence that is affecting a way that I influence others. It's a conviction that I will never erase from my whiteboard. It's an influence that makes me who I am. Never erase a conviction or an influence that makes you who you are as a person. Everyone has qualities that make them unique. I can be a bit crazy, a bit over the top. Some people find that really weird, but that's who I am. Don't erase unique qualities just because they're not cool or you don't fit in because you have that quality. Don't add qualities that aren't you. Don't add something just because it seems cool at the time. Add what makes you you. Your dreams, your goals, your convictions. Don't erase those things. I'd like to look ahead a few years now. Let's say to our 10-year class reunion. Most of us will be done with college. Okay, so Brooke, you might still be finishing your second doctorate degree, and Mr. Johnson might still be taking college classes because he and Scoobin might still be teaching. We don't know. But the point is, we maybe aren't sure of the specific events that are yet to come, but by picking the right influences, we at least have the chance to direct our futures in a positive direction. Choose the wrong influences? Well, no one wants to be the classmate who didn't make it to the 10-year reunion because he was serving a jail sentence. So here it is, our chance to start fresh. Our chance to choose brand new experiences and influences. It's our chance to be a positive influence on others around us. Don't waste that chance. And I want to thank all of the parents and the family members and the teachers of all of us here just for being that positive influence in our lives. And I thank you and hope that you can all continue to be those positive influences that we put back up on our whiteboards today.